Are you for equal outcome or equal opportunity? What's up, my friends? I pray you guys are standing strong in your faith. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about not only the difference between equal outcome and equal opportunity, but why Christians should not be supporting, should be endorsing, or advancing equal outcome. And I'm going to be giving you guys three key reasons as to why that is. Before I do, though, make sure you hit that like button. I so would appreciate that to continue to help the algorithm so we can continue to advance out there in YouTube and to grow this channel so we can continue to help Christians just like you guys stand strong in their faith. I would greatly appreciate that, and hit the bell for future notifications. All right, so what do you know about equal outcome? What have you heard? Now, you probably heard a lot of different things about equal outcome, and it sounds like in our culture today that we need to be supporting it. See, right off the bat, again, the way things are phrased is if you don't support something like equal outcome, then you are a bigot or you're a racist or you're discriminating against people who have an opportunity to achieve something in life. And if you don't give them that opportunity, then they're never going to advance and they're going to stay poor. And if they stay poor, it's going to hurt not just the economy, but their environment, the society at large. And there's different ethnic groups that suffer more than others, and that is true. There's no question that that is not. I'm not condoning when we overlook opportunities to enrich impoverished areas. I mean, I came from a community in Tucson, Arizona, predominantly black and Hispanic. I'm half Mexican. And there was no question in my mind. There was a lot of violence. There was gang violence. There was drugs. There was illegal aliens. I mean, I saw the whole thing. I came from a family where they did not have a lot of education. They did not have high-powered jobs that gave them a lot of money. We didn't inherit a ton of money, but we loved each other. We had strong faith. We stayed tight as a family, and we worked hard, and we were appreciative of what we did have. And through that, it motivated me to work even harder to go to a junior college and get a transfer scholarship and go to a university and get my degree and further my education and further career, not just in ministry, but one day do what I'm doing today, to be an author, to be a writer. And I have dyslexia. I have a learning disability, and the possibility of that happening, blew my mind. But I didn't use these things as excuses. And so I get it, you guys. I get a lot of the frustration that people are dealing with. And so when I come to this topic, it's not just a philosophical refutation to those people who support a form of equity or social justice that's advancing equal outcome. I want to hear people out. But we also want to understand, as we listen and get acquainted or become familiar with people's backgrounds, that we don't dismiss them. I may not relate to your story. You may not relate to my story. But coming to this topic about opportunity versus outcome, I support opportunity. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to give you guys three reasons why we shouldn't be supporting equal outcome, equality of outcome. But I think it's important to talk about, like, just, again, real briefly about my backstory, because I didn't come from a wealthy family. There isn't white privilege all over me. Being half Hispanic with the name Jimenez, you can say, well, nowadays it comes with its benefits. Well, where was that in the 80s? Did it come with its benefits then? So it's like, you can't just pick and choose how things adjust or shift around in culture. You have to, again, there's certain things about virtue and ethics and working hard and being a principled person. I'm a man of faith and looking to God for direction and looking at all ethnicities. On this channel, we don't use races because there's one human race. We're all made in the Imago Dei. No matter what continent, part of the country that you're born into, what kind of language or the color of your skin, we're all beautiful in the sight of God. We all have human value, worth, and dignity. Okay, there's intrinsic value in you as there is in me. Doesn't matter color or creed. So we get that. So we can't be making these excuses. However, at the same time, that's not to diminish, because I grew up in a community, again, predominantly black and Hispanic, where, we grew up in a very poor part of town, and there was no doubt tons of violence, a lot of gang stuff, and people just looked at blind eye to the situation that we grew up in. And and you can kind of feel left out or less valuable, right? Less important because you grew up in it because you're in a poor neighborhood. So I get that. Okay, I get that. I'm sensitive to that. However, that does not mean though. All right, does not mean because I'm half Hispanic and I grew up in a poor neighborhood that I deserve to take something from someone else, redistribute it, so that way I can arrive at the same outcome as that person. So if I want to go to medical school and it's predominantly white, then a lot of those white people need to give money to my family so that we can have the same chances, the same opportunities to arrive at the same outcome as them. The great American economist and the recipient of the Nobel Prize of Economics, his name is Milton Friedman. Listen to what he said in regards to this topic at hand. He said, a society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. A society that puts freedom before equality will get a high degree of both. You see, the former is true of socialism, you guys, that when you have a society that puts freedom before equality, you're going to get a high degree of both. But what socialism does is it says, no, let's put equality before freedom. And what happens in the end is you get neither. See, although the fight for equal outcomes may appear just, the strategy to achieve this seriously flawed goal is actually damaging our country. One of the biggest problems is that equality of outcome necessitates, you guys, a guaranteed level of outcome. That's a problem because nobody can guarantee that. Foisting equality of outcome over opportunity actually, if you think about it, and when you look around, what does it do? Is it advancing equal rights? No, it actually strips people of equal rights. It actually creates policies of regulations that serve to restrict people from opportunities to advance or to exercise their freedoms. You guys, these regulations that restrict freedoms of Americans is a form of, or I should say, is actually a sign of socialism. And that's part of the left's agenda. So let's not get caught up in saying, because I refuse to endorse, condone, and support equal outcome or equality of outcome, doesn't mean that I'm a bigot. Doesn't mean that I'm discriminating against people. There are better ways to help people, as my wife and I are doing in our family, in charitable groups that we support, that not just financially give, but that our ministry supports. Okay? Because I was a recipient of people who gave so that I can go to a private school and get Christian education because my family couldn't afford it. And so angel donors stepped in and blessed us. Okay? We weren't demanding for redistribution for that. The kindness of people's hearts. Now, contrary to the founders, socialism champions the redistribution of wealth, as I've been talking about. It actually advances anti-discrimination laws, apparently, but they're actually discrimination laws because you're discriminating against people who you think have too much. And not only that, but then you take what you think they shouldn't have and that you think you have the right through the government to take it in the first place. And so this equal opportunity programmatic ideological positioning thinks that it can come in and kind of level the playing field between the have-nots and the haves. But it doesn't happen that way, you guys. The idea that all Americans must be given equal allowance and rank, you guys, this is quickly turning our country into an egalitarian society. And we have to be cautious and aware of that. So let me give you guys 3 things as to why we as Christians should not be supporting equal of outcome. Now, before I do, let me just say this last thing. Okay, this is important. This forceful maneuvering of what our culture is doing about equal outcome, what it's doing is trying to convince millennials and Gen Zers to basically take their individual liberties and even their property, right, their possessions, and exchange them for an egalitarian ideal that says that all people must receive equal pay, equal education, equal talent, and so forth. But you guys, that is dangerous. So let me share with you the first point as to why we as Christians should not be supporting equal outcome. Number 1, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Federalist Papers never supported equality of outcome. That's a fact. So, what built this nation on a Judeo Christian ethic and the belief that there is a God and the rights to express what you believe freely, that we are all given what we refer to as God given rights or inherent and unalienable rights. So, the very notion that we are free says we have the opportunity to become something that other places would never promote or give an opportunity. So our founders they didn't believe in equality of outcome. They believed in the dignity, equality, and the inherent rights of individuals as a gift of God. But guys, guess what? That does not mean, though, because we believe in the dignity and equality and the inherent rights of individuals, that we all have equal talents and therefore equal outcomes. No. When you look back at the brilliant founding father, John Adams, the vice president of George Washington, second president of the United States, the brilliant legal mind of John Adams, this is what he said about equality when he's dealing with the subject of equality in his discourses on Davila. He says, quote, although among men all are subject by nature to equal laws of morality, and in society have a right to equal laws for their government, catch this, yet no two men are perfectly equal in person, property, understanding, activity, and virtue, or ever can be made so by any power less than which created them, end quote. Isn't that awesome? He boils it down right there. You cannot take two people and make them the same. It's impossible. And yet we're trying to engineer that into it, like, through an egalitarian society. And this nation of ours, you guys, this wonderful nation was never meant or designed to be run that way. So the truth is, you guys, when you look at equal outcome, it doesn't promote fairness. It doesn't promote equal opportunities or equal outcomes. As a matter of fact, it actually snubs individuality. It actually stifles creativity, cheapens competition. It steals from hard-earning workers, and it lowers the standards of achievement. And guess what? It actually, catch this, equality of outcome through equity, how it's social engineered through social justice, it actually, you guys, advances partiality. And in some cases, it even promotes racism. But the thing is, you guys, as Christians, when we look at individual freedom, that does not guarantee equal outcomes. I mean, who can guarantee that? Who can promise you that? That you see these wealthy people over here, you could be like that. And you know why? Because we're going to go over there, we're going to still take from them, and we're going to give to you. Well, what if that person has no ability intellectually, no matter their ethnicity, to be at the level of these people intellectually? Does that make those people who are smarter more superior? No, of course not. But here's the thing, you guys. It does, however, provide, that is, individual freedom. It actually provides equal opportunity for people to succeed in life. Our nation was founded on the solid conviction that equality of humanity retains and sustains the essence of human rights in a civil society. That's the kind of equity Christians should support and defend. Not equality of outcome, but equal opportunity. Here's the second point now. The second point as to why we should not be supporting and endorsing and advancing equal outcome is because equality of outcome leads to more class warfare. Now, you may be wondering, Jay, what does that mean? Well, let me unpack this, because this is important. When you continue to see this advancing, right, this constant barrage of class warfare, what that ultimately will do, it leads to more entitlements. And with more entitlements is more government handouts. And we've been seeing that actually after every presidential election in the last 5 cycles. So literally in the last 20 years as I'm recording this. When you have more class warfare, okay, as a result of class welfare, we need to continue to give to these people. It's going to produce more warfare because there's going to be more entitlements, which is the demand for more government handouts. And as a result, Congress, this is what happens, you guys. Congress that is bankrupt. It's not that Congress makes money, But Congress is bankrupt not only on a moral level, on a legislative level, but also on a financial level and how they misallocate their resources that they're given. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to now base it off of who they think is oppressed. And they base it off of race or ethnicity, right? But on the left, it's black race, brown race, white race, yellow race. But they're basing it off of color or socioeconomical status or on an alternative lifestyle. And they're not basing it off of experience or education or aptitude. Robinson and Richards wrote a great book, and this is what they say when it comes to government handouts. They say when government tries to substitute itself for the proper functions of business, enterprise, and the market, it does more harm than good. It distorts natural incentives. It encourages cycles of dependency. It replaces the happiness of earned success with the subtle indignity of a handout. I like that. It hinders the creativity of entrepreneurs and turns the win-win game of a free exchange into a win-loss game of coercion and redistribution, end quote. Well said. Couldn't agree more. It is not the government. Here's the bottom line. It's not the government's responsibility, my friends, to reserve spots for the less fortunate. But rather, it is up to the individual to be responsible, to work hard, and hopefully earn the right to be happy in their success. Now, here's the third reason why we should not be supporting anything related to equal outcome. And it is this: we don't apply equality of outcome with sports or medicine. Now, this is what I mean by this, because sometimes you have to say, well, let's put an example. Let's put this in proper context, because if equal outcome is a just cause, if it's going to advance individual freedom and it's going to move our society forward for the better, then why don't we do this across the board in everything? It can, because if this is a good thing, then it's going to be consistent. It's going to be something that we can measure in life because it brings value. There's substance, right? But no, it doesn't make sense if you were to take equality of outcome and apply it to sports and medicine. Think about it. As fans of a particular sport or team, do you want to see mediocre people play at a professional high level just because we're trying to do equality of outcome? And say, when I was just watching the NBA finals the other night, and say, well, I was playing basketball when I was younger. How come I didn't get a shot? Well, I'm 42 now, and why can't I get a shot now? And demand for me to be playing at the NBA level and to ask another player who's worked hard and earned that spot to be removed and put a mediocre player like me on that high level? Does that make any sense? We want to know that the players wearing the uniform or the musician singing or the doctor performing that surgery are the best money can buy. We don't waste our time with mediocrity in the professional arena. We don't look for mediocrity. Remember that famous, wire system, I think it was the AT&T thing is, just okay is not okay. You don't want just okay service and pay a lot of money as a result of it. You want to know that you're paying money for something that's going to be worth it, that's going to last. When you go and have that surgery, you want the best. You want a second, third opinion if need be. A lot of times when I've had friends go through surgery, they say, oh, the person who's performing the surgery is the best in the country, or they've done 20,000 of these operations. You know what I mean? Like that makes that person legit. You don't look for mediocrity in a doctor or a lawyer or a professor. Just like that, you guys, we apply that in the world. We want to know that professional athletes and performers who have worked hard have earned that spot. And that's why when you see somebody perform a talent and they're killing it and you're like, I could never do that. Like that is awe-inspiring. Guess what? That's the American way. But not according to equality of outcome. If someone believes that he has what it takes to be the next Steve Jobs, then all he needs to do is devote his time, his energy, his money, his passion, his creativity, his innovation to be the next great success. And consequently, equality of outcome, guess what, guys? It does not give you that opportunity. It may sound like it does. It may sound good in the universities, but in reality, it destroys the opportunity for people to succeed in their own dreams and their own talents and ambitions. So I hope, my friends, that this video has helped you understand why we as Christians, we care and we love people. We are to come with a big heart because we are showing people the love that God has for them. But we are not to fall prey to empty philosophy and to things that may sound good when in fact they're destroying the lives of people. So I hope this has helped you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, keep standing strong, my friends.